So let's go ahead and talk about navigating file system here. So Linux file system will be unfamiliar to Windows users, but Mac users may recognize it. And guys, this will kind of be a review for us from that intro to Linux OS system, okay? So the files are held in a tree structure with root denoted by the // okay? So that's the beginning of all files. Don't get this confused with the user root, okay? This just simply means the beginning of the top. So each directory under will be preceded with another / and followed by a / to denote the beginning of the next directory. All files and commands in Linux are case sensitive, okay? So documents with a lowercase d and documents with a uppercase d are actually two different files and directories, okay? Directories are separated in a path using the / character, okay, or the root of it, just as we talked about up here. So there's different file types in Linux. We have ordinary files such as text files, data files, command text files, which are scripts, and executable files. We also have directories, and then we have links such as hard links and soft links, okay? So rather than having multiple copies of a file, Linux uses linking to one file to save disk space. So we can have a file, and this file can actually point to another file, okay? That way we don't have to use up more disk space for it. So here's kind of a visual overview of how that works. We have our /, which is going to be our root directory here, and under that we can have bin, dev, etc, home, tmp, user, or usr. And then we would have another / here in between all these, and we could have Bill and Patrick. And under that we would have another /. We'd have school, or books, school, okay? So let's go to our virtual box here, and I'll show you what I mean by that / there real quick. So if I do a pwd, right now I'm in my home directory, and I can do an ls. Like say I have these other things here, so let's do like a cd desktop. Okay, and I'll do pwd again. And then you see we have another / here. So I was in root, I went to desktop here, okay? And so because of that, there's a little / in between root and desktop, okay? And this is the root directory of desktop is here, okay? And the root directory of root is here, okay? So all of them are always separated by that /. I'm going to clear my screen, get some space back, and we'll go back to our PowerPoint here. Alright, so moving on, we're going to talk about the home directory. So Linux is fundamentally a multi-user system. Every user on Linux system is given a sectioned off part of the file system that belongs to them, or their home directory. So for a user named Tom, their home directory exists at /home/Tom. Whenever a squiggly line, or this is also called a tilde, T-I-L-D-E, this is called a tilde, appears at the beginning of a file path, this is shorthand for my home directory. So when Tom uses the squiggly sign or tilde, it means /home Tom, and when Fred uses it, it means /home Fred. Okay, /home/Fred. Okay, so that tilde is nice if you're, kind of far into directories and you just want to go back to your home directory. You can just put that as opposed to typing in the whole home directory path. Okay. So in this course, guys, we're going to be doing much of our work, if not all of it, on a terminal emulator. So on your desktop, you can right-click and use the Open a Terminal option pictured, or just type Control-Alt-T to open one anytime. Now, guys, this is for Ubuntu. We're going to be using CentOS for this course. Okay, so it's done a little bit different in CentOS, and I'll show you how to do that. And in this window, this opens what's called a terminal emulator. It behaves like the terminal that exists underneath the graphical interface of Ubuntu. So right now we're in our terminal. I'll go ahead and exit out of it though. So if I right click on my desktop, you'll see I don't have an option to open terminal. So instead what we do is we're going to go to the upper left part of our screen here to activities. Okay, we'll click on that. And we'll type in CMD. Okay, now we'll open a terminal. So that's how you do it on CentOS. I'll go ahead and switch to Ubuntu here and show you how to do that as well on there. Well, while that's booting up though, we're going to go ahead and move on to our next slide, which is basic user commands. Actually, before we go into that, I do want to show it to you on Ubuntu. it's almost there. You guys, it is really important that you just go ahead and get used to using everything on the terminal, okay? There's not really a whole lot you're going to be using a desktop for, okay? As a sysadmin, you're going to kind of live in that terminal. Alright, so let's go to our virtual box here. There we go. Something I want to point out about Ubuntu as well is actually if you click on not listed and try to type in root, it won't let you, and that's because by default Ubuntu on the virtual machine doesn't allow you to set root. Okay, see? Sorry that didn't work. So it won't let you set root as a user, okay? So we just have to log in normally, and then we'd have to sudo up to root if we wanted to do that. So on the desktop we can right click and now we see open in terminal. Okay? So that's how you do it on Ubuntu. Let's head back to our PowerPoint and move on to the next slide, which is going to be basic user commands.